Hi everybody, how are you? This is Dr. Kesri Shukla with a new video. Today I am going to deal with the topic Victorian age. This is one of the most important age of English literature. Students, Victorian age starts in 1837 when Queen Victoria came on the throne of England, and this age ended in 1901 when she died. And as you have studied in class, that Victorian age is a landmark not only in the history of England for its political conditions, the changes in social conditions, the real influence of industrial revolution took place in Victorian age, the impact of industrial revolution, it actually came on the ground level. What was the impact of industrial revolution? Actually, it came on the ground level. So actually, this is the reign of Queen Victoria's England. Students, here our objective is to discuss the literature of Victorian age. But before starting our emphasis on Victorian literature, we should start discussing the social and political ground of Victorian age, because that literature is the mirror of the society. Means whatever social condition will be there, whatever social atmosphere will be there, so that is always reflected in the literature of that particular age. So definitely the things which were going on in Victorian age, so all that has been reflected in the literature of Victorian age. That's why this is very important to discuss the social conditions of Victorian age. Students, as you know, that when Queen Victoria became the Queen of England only in the age of 18, she was very young. So by now England has grown up on several levels, on social level, on political level, on economical level, and that the age of Queen Victoria is the age of imperialism and democratic formation. You should know that before 1837, the real seed of Victorian supremacy, the development of England was shown, and this was the year 1832. You can note down. This was 1832 when Reform Act was just came on the ground in the Parliament of England. And this Reform Act has given the actual foundation of democracy in England. All those kinds of rights which were not in the hands of common men in England. So actually all those rights have been given in the hands of common men. And by this Reform Act, the common men of England found the power in their hands, and they started giving their important role in the formation of a democratic government? Students, actually, here I want to add one thing, that the condition of middle class was not very good before Queen Victoria. Earlier it was the age of George III, a sentimental king. After that, George IV. So they all have done not a great task for England. But in the fourth decade of 19th century, it was an age of evolution, a great evolution in all fields. Men have been given the right of voting. They cast their vote, and this is only due to the Reformation Act took place in 1832. Next, in 1834 again Reform Act came, and finally in 1837. So in the quick succession of this activeness of Parliament in the form of Reform Acts, the work and practices for the common man has strengthened the middle class of society in England. And now the power of aristocracy just gone on low level, and the power of middle class increases. And when Queen Victoria became the queen, so she started just putting all those things of democratic ideas which were earlier only in the Reform Acts, and all the things started coming on the ground. Now this has resulted a kind of clash between middle class and higher class. Later on I will discuss over that this clash is very significant and important for the literature of this age, students. And this age has also witnessed so many kinds of changes in the society. England has become now a democratic country. Now the rise of middle class is giving it a new height. A kind of peace was tried to be established in England, and on real ground it was also there. But unrest was also there, because now the scientific inventions, actually the discoveries by the scientists, the effect of Darwin, the theory of evolution, the theory of evolution just fired the mind of men. Earlier, Bible was saying, the religious concern was that, the religious concept was this, that we all are the children of Adam and Eve. We are not in the process, we are not the man in the process of gradual evolution. But the theory of Darwin has challenged the religious concepts of the origin of man. This has again created a kind of clash in between science and religion. Science has started challenging the society. So those who were the followers of science, they have started ignoring the concepts of religion, ignoring the concept of churches, ignoring the ideals of religious authorities, and those who were followers of the traditional concepts of religion, So they thought that this is the humiliation of our religion. So this is a clash between science and religion. The Victorian age has witnessed a great clash between science and religion. Now, other science experiments has strengthened the value of science. This is the age of gramophone, telegram, and wireless system. You know that this was the time when Queen Victoria has talked to the President of America, third President of America, on wireless. And at that time, this digital system was not there. A wire was just spread in the ocean, in the sea. So this scientific advancements, this was the age when railway train just came in England. Students, motor cars came in England. So all these discoveries, all these things just strengthen the concepts of science governing minds, but it has created a kind of melancholic, sad tone and pessimistic approach in the religious authorities. They were understanding, they were just finding themselves weaker than the scientific approaches. Actually, science was challenging on several platforms the religion, and religion was finding weaker on several grounds. And what about the common man? The common man of England became in doubt and suspicion. That's why Victorian age is also not only called the age of clash between science and religion, the clash between middle class and higher class, but also this is an age of great confusion. The confusion was in the mind of common men. What should be followed? We should follow the ideals of olds. We should follow the ideals of religion, what was earlier practiced. By now we all have been in the impression of scientific, by the religious concepts. Our mind is only in the scientific, only in the religious things, and by now, just now at this juncture of time of this Victorian age, science is just proving that this is the right thing. Religion is not in position to prove, that is limited only to the concepts, only based on beliefs. But what about that belief which cannot be justified and which cannot be come in the form of practical, which cannot be proved, which cannot be justified? And on the other hand, science is justifying everything. It is giving everything on practical base. So what should be followed? We should follow the concept of religion, or we should follow the concept of science. This was the confusion. And this confusion has created a kind of pessimistic approach in this generation. Dear students, all these things, a clash between old and new, our old ideals should be followed, or we should follow the new ideals of science, what science is just providing us. What should be followed? So this pessimistic approach, what has grown in the mind of the men of England, it has just influenced the literature of Victorian age. They are not actually in proper condition of mind. कि old should be accepted or the new should be accepted. Old ideals should be accepted or new ideals should be accepted. Religion should be accepted or science should be accepted. what is the right. And that those methodical men, those traditional men were not in position to accept this modernity. The seed of modernity was being sown in this age. They were not in position to just accept this city life, because industrial revolution had just created unemployment. Machinery was taking the place of men, and when machines has taken the place of men, the unemployment was also just there in England. So all these things has created a great gap between the city life and village life. The cities grows, cities developed, villages became poor and more poor. The men who were rich, they were becoming more and more rich. The men who were poor, they were becoming more and more poor. And this industrial revolution just resulted in a great sense of discontent in the society, unrest in the society. The kind of peace what about I have just talked in the earlier part of Victorian age, it resulted in the discontentment and unrest. So overall, Victorian age is an age of unrest. This is an age of a struggle between new and old. This is a clash between old belief and new belief, the clash between science and religion, the clash between old concept of religion and a new concept of religion. And also, this is an age of imperialism. England was involved in spreading its empire not only in European countries but also in Asian countries. At that time, you should know that India was a slave of England. Colonization, it was the height of colonization in England. So many countries, more than hundreds of countries were under the belt of England. They were the colonies of England. And that this was the age of Queen Victoria, when India became the colony, the slave of Britain, slave of England. So many students were thinking that earlier India was already slave of England. No. By the 1876, nobody will tell you. Note that this is the video of Dr. Kesari Shukla. This was actually 1876, when Queen Victoria just formed an act and she became the queen of her colonies. Like India. India was earlier in the hands of East India Company. India was the slave. India was the colony of a private company, private limited company. Its name was East India Company. Then, real way, India became the colony of England. India became the colony of Britain in 1876. And that earlier Great Britain was there when Wales was there, Ireland was there, Netherlands, Poland, all these countries were. And even I want to just tell you that America was independent by now, but England had great influence on America. On the paper, America was a free country, but actually it was in the influence of a Victorian age, the Queen Victoria of the England. My dear students, and you should know that in 1800, Scotland in the last, as I have already told you, has become the colony of England. Means the power of England was increasing on several grounds, but internally on social level, England was struggling with the internal this kind of clash among the men, the clash between science and religion, the clash between old and new, the clash between higher class of society and the emergence of middle class of the society. Middle class of society was not just ready to accept the supremacy of higher class of society. Students, you should know. And all these things resulted in discontentment. And here I want to add one thing, that Victorian age has witnessed Oxford movement. Oxford movement was actually a movement to re-establish the identity of religion and church. As I have told you, that old ideals of religion, the supremacy of church, was going gradually at fall. It was falling. The belief in church and religion was now no more in the society, and it was being replaced by scientific ideals. So in the leadership of John Cabell, you should note down the name, the leadership of John Cabell, and also Newman's role can never be forgotten in Oxford movement. They have tried, they have visited door to door campaign to say that religion is the foundation of Christianity. You must not deny the real standard of Christianity. You should again return to the religion. And dear students, actually this movement is known as the Oxford movement. That this was the movement which was led by Oxford professors and Oxford scholars, who were actually the men who were believing in the old ideals. Students, these conditions were there which created a kind of discontentment and unrest in the society. Students, its impact was on literature also. You know that Victorian is a great age of literature. Great literary ideals, great literary artists were produced in Victorian age, who just displayed the face of Victorian society. In poetry, this is the age of Robert Browning. This is the age of Alfred Lord Tennyson. This is the age of Thomas Hardy, who was not only a novelist but great poet also. And this is the age of novel. I have told you about poets, but the importance of novel you can understand in this way, that the kind of development and the kind of importance of the dramas were in the age of Queen Elizabeth, in Elizabethan age, the kind of height what the dramas had achieved in Elizabethan age, same kind of height novel has achieved in 19th century, this Victorian age. So this age can also be called the age of novels, especially in literature. You can never forget the name of Charles Dickens. Yes, Charles Dickens. You can never forget. Charles Dickens, a great novelist. Thomas Hardy is the novelist belonging to this very age. And a great name, William Makepeace Thackeray, a great name in the field of novel. They have made a great impact. You know that Hardy belongs to the pessimistic era, the pessimistic stream. I will discuss it in separate video, students. And one name I have just missed in poetry, and this name can never be forgotten by any literary student, that is the name of Matthew Arnold. Matthew Arnold is the pioneer of the poetry of Victorian age, belonging to the pessimistic stream. Students, there is a great series of essayists in this age also. William Hopkins was there. H.G. Wells' fiction, his short stories can never be forgotten. And also the Pre-Raphaelites, who has given their great role in the field of essays that can never be forgotten. Rossetti, Swinburne, and especially in the field of novel. What about I have started with Thomas Hardy and Charles Dickens, William Makepeace Thackeray, Charlotte Bronte. The name of Charlotte Bronte, the name of Mary Bronte, the name of Anne Bronte, the name of George Eliot, and these four names, three the Bronte sisters, and another fourth name is George Eliot. They all are female literary artists. They are the feminine representative of novel in Victorian society. But dear students, they were not achieved that kind of fame and identity in Victorian age actually, because Victorian age was an age of the supremacy of men. Students, women were in bad condition in Victorian age. Even if they are coming in the field of literature and want to have some name in literary field, so they were compelled to change their names. That's why even Charlotte, even Bronte sisters, Charlotte Bronte, Mary Bronte, Anne Bronte, and even George Eliot by the name. Most of the students understand that George Eliot is the name of some male novelist. Actually, this is the name of a female novelist. Actually, they have changed their name in male form so that they can be considered. Otherwise, there was no consideration there. Especially about the condition of women, students, I want to add here the line of Alfred Lord Tennyson. You can understand the standard of women in Victorian age. He has written, man for the field and woman for the hearth. Man for the field, woman for the hearth. Man for the sword and needle sea. Man to command and woman to obey. Means women are only for domestic works. They are the slave of their husbands. They have the identity, but within the wall of home. They have not separate identity in those days. Even students, earlier I have missed to tell you that they have not even right to cast their votes. They found it in 1900. Earlier they have no right to cast their vote even. So this is the blot on Victorian age, that it could not give the kind of respect for women what the woman deserves. It has not been given to them. But these Bronte sisters and George Eliot like novelist has tried to just develop their identity in the society by their literary creations. The students, I have just discussed about the social and political ground of England in Victorian age and what kind of its influence was on the literature. So I have to add another video in it. So you should wait for the next video. Thank you. Best of luck. Thank you, dear students.